Guys, we're back on site at the Atlas system. So we came back, did a little bit of upgrading on this guy. I'll just run through it really fast. So before, when I came, he had problems with these two inverters down here. They weren't communicating with the master up here. And because of that, he only had one 30 amp output, actually to his whole system in this barn. You have two 5,000 watt hour, 100 amp hour, 48 volt batteries on top up here. Okay. And they were wired in a very weird way. So the previous installer had one DC out here that went down to this inverter, and then from this inverter it jumped to this inverter, and then from this inverter it jumped to this inverter, and from this inverter it jumped back up to this side. And then the two panels in right here, these two little jumpers here, were actually basically together, just looped together. And what I was figuring was the output of these batteries were kind of bottlenecked there, because all four of these connections should be placed on a central bus bar system down here, so they can have full flow instead of just relying on the outer lugs to push all that power. And not only that, from the central location of the DC bus, have equal length cables going from each inverter separately up to the bus bars, just making everything a little bit more seamless, and the voltage drop even across every inverter. And then up here, if you remember, he just had, at this small panel up top, three 30 amp double poles that were going to the outputs of each inverter, and there was a 15 and a 20 amp outlet up there, and there was really no room for growth. So what we did was we took a 100 amp service cable and 100 amp double pole breaker, and we ran a new sub panel down to here, where now we have a dedicated 20 amp breaker on one phase, a dedicated 20 amp breaker on another phase, and we have a bunch of 15 amp breakers in there running lights and smaller outlets in here on separate phases. And I think that's really going to help this system, because basically he was trying to pull power from multiple outlets in here that were all on the same 20 amp breaker and phase, and he was popping the circuit breaker up top in the small little sub panel up here, and the inverters weren't able to really, take care of it the way they should have. So now we've got a nice 100 amp sub feed going down to this small 100 amp load center down here. He's got a couple different breakers on different phases so that we can balance out the load output of these inverters. And now the DC is wired in to where everything is sharing even length of cable from the point of contact, which is here at the bus bars now. And from the bus bars out to the batteries, now they're all separately run from every single one of these Anderson connections to the bus bars, giving it nice even distribution. Nice little upgrade. I'm glad the customer took our recommendation and had us come back and do these little things to service this. And now customer has quite a nice ESS here that he can then further grow out and put new circuits in this small load center down here and just get the best out of everything. He's got one solar array out there that's going to the master, so he still has plenty of MPPT on the master and the two slaves for a lot more solar input. And now that he's got a set of bus bars down there in the middle, we can jump off to another set of bus bars and add more batteries in the future so that he can continue to grow. So anyway, showing you guys this. Glad this all worked out great. This is Watts Miner, over and out.